And then I'm going to go ahead and share my screen just so that we can go through the presentation. And then if we all agree to it, I think we're good and we're just gonna submit it. I can submit it right now once we all approve it, and y'all can watch me submit it as I do. Just so that we can at least have the majority vote on it. Okay, is everyone seeing the presentation there?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay, so we have our starting slide. We have the slide that can serve as our cover page for APA formatting. This is where I've put in a link to our collaboration blog where all four of us have talked in some way, shape, or form. And then I've linked in our first meeting recording that I was able to do from yesterday, and then I'll put in today's as well.
Okay.
I was able to talk, I know in some aspects we've been able to get in touch with our fourth member, so she has been able to contribute in some way, shape, or form. This is just a slide discussing the book study experience. If y'all want to look it over, we can add stuff to it. I said that most of our discussion was held over the Blackboard collaborative blog because for me, that was just the easiest once I found it, because I know like some of y'all have kids and we're trying to balance work. And so I just said that seemed to be the most effective. We are having Zoom meetings. We have tried meeting up in the collaborate room. It proved to be difficult to find ways to talk and discuss in real time because we're all like crazy and teaching and going back to school at the same time. And then I said ultimately good ideas and findings were shared. It was a good experience because I am happy to meet y'all. I got to talk to Tara a little bit the other day. And so in talking to you, Anastasia, it's been really nice.
Thanks.
Just even in the brief time that we've had, getting to know our classmates. And then the next slide jumps into the main ideas and takeaway. I don't know about y'all, but I kind of felt like the main hub of the majority of the book was focused on that T3 framework. I didn't really see like any other heavier explanations being taken into account for anything else other than that as the main focus. So I kind of broke that down based off of ideas shared in the blog, as well as just some brief things that we've discussed. And then I broke down each of the tiers based off of what we've discussed. Main ideas and takeaways, the 5 modern principles. And then I threw in these comparisons to some other frameworks that have been seen previously. So SAMR and the TPAC, just kind of all sharing the same idea about taking what's already been given, kind of remodeling it, restructuring it, presenting it in a new way, and then seeing how that kind of goes beyond the students and how it's being used beyond that. From there, we talked about some reasons why this may not be such a great book or why this might not work, and it's assuming that every student has accessibility to working technology or any technology at all, and then assuming that they're responsible enough to use the technology. I kind of brought in the idea that I'm having to balance both. I'm seeing it as a little bit of a hindrance because they need it for their classwork, but the whole time they're just on Instagram. So it's like, yeah, it's really stressful. And it's completely like, feels like we're just wasting time. But another point was made up that we don't know if education will even move in that direction of relying on technology. I agreed when Tara brought that up, that was just, it's just kind of unrealistic to imagine that we won't have the in-person connections and the in-person teaching model. Hopefully hybrid goes away or we are straight one or the other, because I just do not feel effective.
You know, my kids my kids that I gave birth to, like my own kids, I'm paying money for a private school that does not allow any technology at all.
I can imagine. I can imagine. And so that hands-on experience, absolutely. Assuming that all educators know their students well enough to modify and apply the work in the way that they need it.
Yeah.
And then getting into application, we talked about making sure that we have clear ways to modify and adapt the current tech uses, create ways to reinvent current tech in more purposeful ways, apply that tech appropriately. And then beyond application, after we carry out all of the aspects of that framework, educators can assess themselves as well as how their students did based on rubrics that were presented throughout the book. And then the goal overall is that there's some sort of common language being used across the board in education in regards to technology, so that it becomes more accessible for everybody, both educators and students. Overall, the book would receive a 4 because it definitely fits into to the current state of education, and understanding how to purposefully adapt technology in the classrooms is essential. Because of the usefulness and strategies discussed for carrying out the model presented, this is going to receive a 4, but I'm going to make a note here that talks about, once I log in, I'm going to make a note here that talks about how it's kind of missed the mark on some of those assumptions, and that's why it was kind of docked for those points. So once I get that pulled up. Okay, so after just kind of reviewing those slides, is there anything that y'all can think of that you want to add? Y'all shared some really great ideas throughout the blog. I agreed with everything y'all had to say. I think it's because we're all in the same boat. So,
I think it's a 4 because it's, it's so funny. The author was talking about, how the concept of digital natives is such a, silly idea. And then all of a sudden he is basically saying the same thing. And I'm like,
right.
Because when he was talking about the producer and consumers of digital content, and like some of the things he was saying, how, you every once in a while you have I just assigned my students an assignment where they were supposed to draw a picture of the definition of voltage, like on atomic level, for me back. And someone turned in a GIF, and someone turned in, but most of them turned in a picture of a piece of paper that they drew with a pencil on.
Right, of course.
Yeah, and that's perfectly fine, but it's honestly, so often it's just, they don't know. They're not the digital natives. They're not this person who can produce content other than like TikTok videos. It's just not helping.
Right. So I'll add that idea in there, that the author also assumes that the younger generations can be considered.
Well, he doesn't say digital natives because I think the term was, let me look it up. I have it in the Kindle. Let me pull it up on my phone. It was, I think, in chapter 2. I think it was like prosumers, something like that.
I'm gonna say that the author also assumes that the younger generations can be considered tech savvy.
Yeah, they're not.
But they still struggle.
They struggle, yeah. They can't even, I have students who show up to my class in 11th grade and they don't know how to access their email.
Oh, same with Microsoft.
Because it's on their phone. They always, use their phone.
Right.
Yeah. And so coding, I'm not even like touch that. I put that on the blog, and I've been teaching coding. I've taught it from like 3rd grade to 12th grade. Like, no. Like, no.
Yeah, you're over my head when you start talking about coding.
I think they're able to like use technology to a certain extent, but what they're not able to do is problem solve.
Right.
Like they can use, they can use, internet and stuff, but when they have a problem, they're like, well, what do I do? I'm like, figure it out. you know.
And then there is a lot of time that goes into actually explaining to them how the digital tools that they're using work.
Mhm.
That's instructional time. That is, and those things, they're not covered by our TEKs most of the time. So it's kind of like, it's all this extra stuff that is not always helpful. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's wonderful, but sometimes it's just, you know, I use a lot of digital tools like simulators, like electronic simulators and things like that. And they're awesome, they're wonderful, I love them. But then there are other tools that, like Google Drive, that I'm not particularly happy with. So it's some of the collaboration tools, I feel like unless you're actually in a strictly online environment, they hinder collaboration than anything else.
Right.
Because it's just, and it's an extra step.
Hmm.
I agree. I agree. Is there anything else y'all would like to add throughout the slides that y'all saw that you might want to adapt?
Your slides are so beautiful. I mean,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you. This is all y'all's brain power too. So y'all are, you know, put all of our brains together.
I have a question, like off topic. Well, kind of. In our other course, when we respond to people's writings, how many responses are we supposed to give?
I don't know.
Is it 4?
I think 4,
Okay.
right?
What other course are you talking about?
Readings, right? You and readings, because I keep reading yours.
The modules where we've got like the different
Yes.
modules and the different readings that we have to do. I don't know if
I
you
don't think you're in that course. It's the readings in instructional technology, something like that.
Or it's the analysis
Dr.
of,
Rice.
yeah. But that's
So
right.
for this one, yeah, the other course that I'm in is with a Professor Sullivan.
Okay,
Okay,
And
so
I
you're in a
think
different course.
that's in a different one.
it is.
Yeah.
Because I think this is the only one that I see. So I'm like, oh my gosh, did I miss something?
No, I'm sorry.
No, Tara, I believe 4 because when we were doing the flip grid, I did 3 and I lost a point. And
Okay.
usually, yeah. So now
I
you
lost
know.
the point,
Don't
and I
just-
didn't know why. So
Okay. Yeah. So I think 4, and I just try to do 4. I don't know. And then I reply to people once they reply to me because I guess I just have to.
Yeah.
I try to.
Yeah.
And so I have a meeting I've got to go to pretty soon.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Get out.
Absolutely.
I am going.
Nice meeting y'all.
Okay.
Are we all good with what we have here?
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I'm
Great.
going to, I have to end the meeting to save the recording.
That's fine.
And
Yeah.
then I'm going to submit what we just saw. I'll submit it today.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Okay?
Okay. Thank
You're
you.
done.
Awesome. I appreciate
Bye. Have a
it.
great
Alright.
weekend.
Y'all
Bye.
have a great weekend. See y'all
Thanks,
later.
bye.
Bye.
Bye.